Hey everybody, this is Captain Fool reporting for duty, giving you my weekly comic book review. So sit back and enjoy. Alright everybody, for those of you that know the drill, I go over a bunch of comic books for the week that I chose to read. Now I didn't have time to read everything, so if I missed something you think I should have read, let me know in the comments below. Also, you may disagree with me on some of my choices. If that's the case, that's alright. Let me know below. Let's just try to keep it civil. My goal is to bring back the old schoolyard days, where we would be in discussing what hero could beat who or what comic book was good and not. And I come armed with my trusty notes, so you'll hear the paper rattle because I do it a little bit old school. I do my grading on a scale of 0 through 10, 7 being average as a 70%. So I'm using schoolyard grading. But that's not all. I also use the League of Comics Geeks to give you other people's views as well as a brief overview of the comic book as well. So let's jump right in. Alright, let's jump right in. The first one we're going to talk about is Nightwing. Yeah, Nightwing number 110. Has anybody else noticed on the cover the way Nightwing is pointing? It seems like a Karen, an angry Karen there. Maybe it's just me. But League of Comics Geeks said 136 out of 159 liked it with a 3.7 average rating, and I gave that, let me look at my numbers here, a 7. So yeah, we're not too far off. They gave it a little bit higher rating than what I did. If you hear the clicks in the paper, that's my notes there for those of you unfamiliar. Anyways, this can Nightwing save the Super Sons? Nightwing, Batgirl, and the Titans are all doing all they can to save the world overrun by beasts. A story that I am not reading at all. I'm completely skipping out of that mini event, by the way. If you're reading it and you like it, let me know. Heroes have become threats, and one of the biggest threats now stalks the streets of Blüdhaven, where once there was a Robin. Now there's a cat. Can John Kent and Nightwing save the city from Damian Wayne? Or will the Super Sons be torn apart forever? Well, it all comes out in this one issue. Tom Taylor's the writer, artist is Sammy Barsaru, whatever your name is. Sorry, I thought the art was good, but I'm really not a fan of this event. And this event, of course, spilled into this issue. There is good characterization in this issue, but once again, this story just isn't doing it for me. I gave it a 7, and I think I was being pretty generous. But then again, I have no interest in this major storyline event at all. And maybe you do, and if you do, that's okay too. Now jump to another issue. Let's talk about another event, and that's the Gang War event. This is an event I am reading. It's a street level thing, and I wanted to read some more street level stuff. It's the Amazing Spider-Man number 42 with the Gang War storyline. 71 out of 121 liked it with a 2.8 average rating. Wow. People did not like this. This one got slammed pretty hard. John Romita Jr. was the penciler on this one. And maybe that has something to, for the cover art as well as the interior art. There's actually multiple covers too, and some of those covers are pretty cool, by the way. Zeb Wells is the writer. People just aren't getting into the Zeb Wells run, and I get it. I didn't like a lot of his stuff, but here's the thing. I think as long as he stays away from the MJ stuff, it hasn't been bad. I don't mind the street level stuff. So when they gave it a 2.8, I actually gave it a 7.1. For once, I'm reading something higher. Maybe I missed something. It says Gang War continues. The Beetle has stepped up in her father's absence, and she's become a very different Janice Lincoln. And that's true. She's sort of written, I think, maybe out of character in some regard there. She's smart, dangerous, and ready to take the big chair with Spider-Man and others distracted by the Kingpin. She just might do it. And I'm looking at other people's reviews, and boy, are they all over the place on this. It says Wells has been disinterested in Spider-Man for a while now. It's one of the comments. Boy, these reviews are completely all over the place. Highlights Fisk. The Rose is getting a pants down spanking in the confrontation. The negatives, the art, the story, the writing, the heroes once again do nothing here. And I think that's the thing there. There really isn't much being done by the heroes here. People are saying this event is boring. And I think it's because maybe it focuses a lot on the enemies and what they're doing, and they don't like that. But I sort of like that. I think that I like that as the Gang War continues. I like more street level Spider-Man. I get, and I think that's why. But I think this writer does, Wells does better when he's away from Mary Jane and the actual Spider-Man characters. And really, this issue isn't anything special. It's okay at best, and that's why I gave it a 7.1. But boy, some people were pretty harsh. Maybe you thought that way too. Why did you hate it so much if you did? I'm really interested, because usually I'm the one that gives things a little bit of a harder look than what most people do. It seems like that. So, hey, this is cool. It's cool seeing somebody else thrash something besides me. Now, the next one I want to talk about is Batman Superman World's Finest, issue number 23, with 197 out of 204 liking it, with a 4.3 average rating on League of Comics Geeks. It says Superman Batman must stop Boy Thunder from becoming Magog. The walls are closing in on the world's finest duo as Boy Thunder falls fully under the thrall of Gog in the universe of Kingdom Come. Can the superheroes stop and save the day? Well, maybe they can. The creators is Mark Waid, which I know is a big negative right there, and artist is Dan Mora. The thing is this, I think this book has good art, and in this issue, things get real. It's good action, good story, good characterization. It surprises me that such a crappy person actually wrote this, that Mark Waid can write such heroic characters when he's such a douche himself. And I actually give this book an 8 out of 10. And I'm saying, I'm really trying to be fair here. I have to separate the artist, the writer from the book, because I am not a fan of Waid at all in any way, but I have to give him props here on this. I've been enjoying it. Hey guys, today's video is sponsored by My Wallet. Yeah, I'm not trying to push any kind of wallet or pimp any wallet out. What I mean is it's sponsored by my personal wallet and the cash that comes out of it to pay for these things. If you want to help with this, you can hit like, subscribe, that notification bell. Those are great ways to get started. But if you find yourself in a position where you can help the channel more, we have a Patreon and a subscribe star down below that you can click on those links. And for as little as $1 a month, you'll have special videos and things to just you, music that you can get. Or maybe if you wanted to, a one-time donation just to help out, we have a Streamlabs link down below. Or we also have, if you go to the Patreon shop, you could buy a song for like $3. I wish I could put them a little lower, but that's the minimum they allow for that. So there's lots of options. Sometimes you might even see an Amazon link. If you want to buy anything through Amazon, click on my link first, then go through there. That'll give me a couple pennies possibly that way too as well. So there's lots of ways you can help out the channel, because without you, it would not be possible. So thank you everybody. And let's get back to the video. The next one is Superman number 10. Yes, ladies, check out this Superman, a buff Superman with this cowboy hat. I hope that makes you happy. 225 out of 229 liked it, with a 4.2 average rating on League of Comics Geeks, where I gave it a 7.6. I gave it a strong rating, but as usual, not as high as they all did. And we have the writers Joshua Williamson, the artist is Bruno Redondo. Once again, if I butcher those names, it's never out of any rude intent. There's lots of good covers for this one. I really like the train cover for that, but that's me. And there's actually all the covers I thought though here was good. The Man of Tomorrow meets the Man from Yesterday. Now I will say this, from last issue, I was not too keen, and oh, here we go, Superman's getting thrown in the past. I was a little bit negative on that. But it says, welcome to the Wild West of Metropolis, where the Man of Tomorrow meets the Man from Yesterday. Clark Kent is on a rootin' tootin' rodeo adventure alongside the ghostly Marilyn Moonlight as they get to the bottom of why she haunts the night. Now, here's another thing. I wasn't a big fan of Marilyn Moonlight, but this issue and this story actually gives me some care about this character. And I'm getting interested in that character. It was a fun issue. It was much better than what I expected. And here's the thing. It didn't overstay its welcome with Superman in the past for, 8 issues or something. It was a one and done thing. This was a much better issue than I expected. The time travel story arc was short and well written, solid art, good pacing, fun story. I gave it a 7.6. I really like this. This Superman has been a good relaunch title, and I think if you have any liking to Superman at all, you might want to be checking this series out. The next one I'm going to talk about is Daredevil number 5, and I like this cover, man. She-Hulk is breaking his weapons, his cane, if you will, his Billy Club, whatever you want to call it. Also has some cool covers for this as well. And 135 out of 138 liked it on League of Comics Geeks with a 4 average rating. Daredevil's second arc begins with a brutal bout in the senses-shattering second arc of Daredevil creator Salman Ahmed. Can't say these names anyway. Continue explosive debut of this new series featuring an all-new villain for Daredevil to face down. Also spinning a different take on the character and what he does, and I think it's so far that it's working. The writer Salman Ahmed and artist Ferrari, sorry dude, I'm not even gonna try, I'm gonna butcher your name. Laugh away at me, people, because I just can't say names. Anyway, I give this book a 7.5. I thought it was Oh no, sorry, 7.6. That was pretty darn good. Good art, good action, good story, good pacing. If you are a Daredevil fan, I think you should check this out. I don't think you're going to be disappointed, even though he's not a lawyer at this point. I think what they're doing works. I have no issue with that. No issue with that. Maybe I should have saved my drum hit, my rib shot for that line, right? The next one I want to talk about is the Invincible Iron Man number 14. And if you're a fan of, Emma and Tony getting together, well, hanky panky ensues. Tony Stark needs more than just an armor to defeat Orcus. He needs an army. Can Ironheart build one in time? Who cares? I don't really care about the Ironheart part, but it is what it is. 98 out of 102 liked it with a 3.9 average rating on League of Comics Geeks, where I gave it a 7. Yeah, a 7 out of 10. Gary Drugan is writing that. Artist Andrea DeVito. Once again, if I butchered your name, I apologize. We see the connection between Tony Stark and Emma Frost grow deeper, and they go deep. Good covers, good alternate covers for this issue as well. Good art in this issue. And you know what? I like the story. And I actually like this couple a little bit here. It's starting to grow. We're starting to see some connection there. And we definitely see a connection in this issue. Pun intended, just so you know. Oh boy, I read a lot of books this week. So I have to really dig out my notes to get through all this one today to make sure I keep everything straight. And I'm going to talk about one that maybe is a little bit controversial. And I found myself having two different views on this issue, and that's Jay Garrick, The Flash, number 4. Now, here's the thing. 99 out of 103 liked it with a 4.1 average rating on League of Comics Geeks, where I gave it a 7. Now, I almost gave it higher ranked than that, but let me get to why in a moment. We have Jay and Judy race to stop Dr. Elemental. Yep, his history is revealed. Jay Garrick and his daughter Judy race to dismantle the plan that's 80 years in the making. Writers Jeremy Adams, artist is Diego Olive, whatever. Anyway, it's a good story. It fleshes out the second-rate Doctor Doom character that we haven't seen much of. And it's got okay art, and it's got good pacing, and it's fun. I gave it a 7, but here's the reason I gave it a 7 instead of a higher mark. It's once again, we are changing the history of characters. Some might argue, well, who knows the backstory of Jay Garrick anyway? Unless you're old, and I'm old. Maybe you wouldn't have known anyway, so you wouldn't have known the difference. And I get that take and idea of it, but I don't know. I'm sort of a guy who's like, why are we screwing with characters' back history and things? We're just convoluting and making things more complicated than we need to be when there's nothing wrong with his backstory in the first place. So why are we going through all this and all to do those kinds of things? I don't know. And maybe that's something I would like to know. You let me know, did the changing of the character make it, in his backstory, do anything for you? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? What was your thoughts on that? By the way, I did read Transformers number 4, but I don't think it came out this week. I think maybe I just missed it. If you're not reading the Transformers, you definitely should be getting it. It has been absolutely amazing. And because you go back to some of these old cartoons, and we're bringing them a little bit more life in the comic books. And yeah, some of them had series for a long time, but maybe they've been a little faltering in the comics, hit and miss. And speaking of hit and miss in 80s comics, we have G.I. Joe Real American Hero issue 303. Yeah. League of Comics Geek said 47 out of 48 liked it with a 4.2 average rating. The Joes sent a covert team to learn the truth about Springfield, but Serpentor Khan is a deadly surprise in store for them. And the writer is the woke Larry Hama. Yes, I called him woke because he's woke. And the artist Chris Monahan. But I will tell you this, even though he's woke, he tends to go that way, he does a pretty good job with this series. I give this issue a 7.5. You don't mess with someone when they're sleeping with Scarlet. You definitely learn that in this issue. If you're sleeping with Scarlet and somebody comes to mess with you, you're going to do something about it because that's Scarlet. And Scarlet's not going to be happy either. So when we see Snake Eyes and Scarlet in a fight, you're going to see they are not taking being interrupted in the sack. Good action, okay art in this, but it's a fun story. If you like 80s cartoons and enjoy G.I. Joe, this is a nice take back to the retro of that. And I think you'll enjoy it. And speaking of 80s retro and enjoying it, really, this was a good surprise too, was Cobra Commander number 1. 196 out of 197 liked it with a 4.4 rating on League of Comics Geeks, which is right up there around what I did. I gave this an 8, and it is a solid 8. This is a mini-series premiere. The rise of Cobra Commander begins here. This is a cool thing because we've got the connected universe here and you see the connection in the Cobra Commander series, as well as the Duke series, and how it connects to the Transformers series. And it's pretty cool. Josh Williamson, the writer artist, is I'm sorry, dude. You're gonna have to look that up yourself because I just butchered it. But I think this is a fantastic issue. It's great characterization and story. And we get some really good universe building here with this issue. This is a must read, in my opinion, for any G.I. Joe fan. Because come on, who likes G.I. Joe that doesn't like Cobra Commander, right? And we get to see this, and it is a really well done story. I am greatly enjoying it. I am looking forward to the next issue. And speaking of looking forward to an issue, this one surprised me because I didn't know what to expect. As a matter of fact, oops, I hit my mic. I apologize. You hear that thump there? I was a little on the fence of even bothering getting this issue, but I decided to give it a try. And that's Avengers Twilight #1. Fortunately, there is no glowing vampires in this, no sparkly vampires, so that's good. Sorry for the bad humor. 250 out of 255 liked it, with a 4.4 average rating on League of Comics Geeks. Yeah, Chip Zdarsky's the writer, so is Ralph Macchio, and artist Daniel Acuno. Once again, I butcher names, I apologize. The cover art is by Alex Ross. There's other versions by other people too. And the cover, there's some pretty cool alternative covers. That Alex Ross cover is pretty darn fantastic. In a gleaming new world of prosperity, Captain America is no more, but Steve Rogers still exists, floating through America where freedom is an illusion, where the Avengers are strangers and his friends are long dead. But is this a dream? How do you assemble Avengers in a world that doesn't want them anymore? Plus a behind-the-scenes look at the making of this issue. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, as I said, I almost skipped this, but I found this story interesting, so I'm glad I picked it up. And granted, I get it. I'm biased for Captain America, very much so, but it's nice seeing an old Captain America saying, you know what, things aren't right. I'm suiting up again, and I'm taking up the mantle, and we're going to do something about it. The art is not my favorite kind of style for the interior art of this issue, but for some reason, it seems to work with this. And I am definitely going to be checking out the next issue. I gave this a 7.8. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next and who is Steve Rogers be able to pull together. And also another cool thing is we get to see Luke Cage. Yeah, his impenetrable skin, but also causes problems later on in life for him. And that's a pretty cool spin on things. So his skin's so hard he can barely move. So it's a pretty cool take to see Luke Cage as well. And speaking of some pretty cool takes and things, another series that maybe more people are sleeping on than they should is Green Lantern War Journal #5. And I'm going to explain why I like this issue maybe more than some people do, and for a different reason. We have 96 out of 99 liking it, with a 4.2 average on League of Comics Geeks. I gave this issue a 7.8, so pretty close. The writer is Philip Kennedy Johnson, the artist is Montos. Anyway, it says the hunt begins. Suited up with a new armor and his newly forged experimental Green Lantern ring, John Stewart leads his allies into the rainforest on a race against time to stop the Radiant Dead's invasion of Earth. Can John destroy the Dark Star ring and save Earth before succumbing to the deadly infection himself? But you know what? This book that's actually not the storyline that I care about the most in this series. Yeah, this book has great characterization. The issue that I like most about this issue is with John and his mother. And I think it's because it hits home with me. Mental illness is a sad, tragic thing, and the people struggling need compassion and care, and we see that here in this issue with John, and it really hits home. And anybody that's dealt with relatives going through things like that, I think this will hit home for you. I've had a stepfather I've had to take care of going through mental illness. I had a grandmother I took care of going through mental illness, and now I have my mother-in-law and father-in-law both struggling with mental illness that my wife and I are taking care of as well. And you love them, but they do become in a way different people, and you have to remember that they can't help that. Their minds aren't being honest to them anymore, and they struggle, and sometimes having to have conversation with them can be tragic. I remember talking to my father-in-law just this Christmas, and he asked about one of his brothers, and I had to remind him that sadly his brother passed away already, and he just couldn't remember, and he seemed absolutely devastated when I told him. And mental illness is a brutal thing, and if you know anybody going through that, please open your hearts to them, because they're going through a tough time. They can't help it. Their brain is just not telling them the truth, and it can be scary, and it's just tough. But that really hit home with me in this issue, and I think anybody that has compassion like that is going to feel it too. This is a good issue, solid issue, good art. I gave it a 7.8. If you like some real characterization here, and we get to see that with John Stewart and his love for his mother there and how he's taking care of her the best he can and going through some rough stuff. This is something be going more than just punching a villain in the face, and I really appreciate it with that issue. Now, going back to more of the not so deep but yet fun, we're going to talk about Cap Wolf and the Howling Commandos number 4. 26 out of 26 liked it with a 3.9 average rating. Yes, in a fight of a lifetime, as Cap and the Howling Commandos race to prevent the Nazis from unleashing werewolves on the world. But when best laid plans go sideways, it'll take a miracle and a faith of each other to ensure which team will come out alive. The book is written by Stephanie Phillips, artist Carlos Magno. And I will say this, I think it's good art. I gave this book a 7.8, by the way, so I gave it a high score. It's nice seeing Nick Fury and the Howling Commandos getting some more attention and spotlight. So it's a good group, and I think they deserve more than what they get, especially with Marvel sort of hating on, certain aspects and trying to make changes. Will we get another Cap Wolf story? Will they hint to it and allude to it? But I honestly don't think we will anytime soon, because it just doesn't look like the numbers are here to support it. I think you'd need more to make it happen. Maybe it'll sell better in trade. I don't know. Maybe this might be one of those series to put in trade. It might actually do better, but I'm not sure. But anyway, I'm looking over my notes. I think that's it. Yep, that's what I read. What did I miss? What should I have read? What did you read? I would love to know. Thank you for watching, and share your opinions down below, and thank these people, because without these people, this channel would not be possible. They continue to support this channel. They are nothing but amazing, and check some of them out. Some of them have channels too that they do their own comic book reviews and things. They're amazing. They're awesome. I always check them out. I don't always write a lot in the comments because I listen to things while I'm working. But definitely check them out because they're all amazing. Thank you everyone for your time. Until next time, keep it frugal.